I don't know whether I'm like the anomaly lah, thinking that maybe there might be a review that would be more palatable lah.
I think you are, I think you're way off the mark. Like, I think if you ask 100 people who see this article, you might be the only one that thinks that salary might go down. To me, it's zero chance, that it's going to go down. It will only go up lah. So in their minds, in these office holders' minds, I already defer for so long, dude. I never get paid for so long already. I never increase for so long already.
So that's the thing lah. Like, I really don't think I'm the only one in 100 where that thought might cross the mind.
I think you are lah.
See, Terence, you really today you damn testy What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
It is the second week of January 2024. Second week?
I don't keep count on this kind of thing.
Oh, you don't keep counting?
Yeah. It's just, it's 10th January lah. Yeah.
Why not, man? Why not the second week?
Like, I mean, the first is already, okay, that was significant, but why do you keep keeping track? But you are much more like very into remembering all these kind of like little dates and details that don't really like
No, don't say they don't really matter. Like the dates
they matter a lot for you lah. They matter a lot for you. Yeah.
And hopefully the people involved. But this was just nothing because I just feel that the second week of January has a very distinct different feel from the first week lah. You don't feel that?
Yeah. Then every week has a very distinct. Every day is a different day.
Actually, no. I think the difference between the second week and the third week will be less than the second week and the first week.
Oh, I don't.
And I think the difference, just there's an attrition lah in terms of difference.
I think it's reasonable to think of like seasons lah, right? You know, spring, summer, winter, fall. I think that's okay because there is a very marked change in the weather and all. But if the weather from week to the week, one to week two is about the same, how to really mark a difference other than in your own head lah? Oh, this is the second week or blah blah that kind of thing lah. You know?
I mean, it's still the second week lah, and like I'm sure there are people out there who also feel differently.
Yeah. No, sorry, I'm responding to that because I got PTSD from working with someone who exactly was like that lah. At the start of the week, you know, those hands-on meetings, they'll be like, this is the third week of the first one, or the first week of the second half of the year, or the first week of the second quarter. And it was after a while, it got damn annoying trying to attach some special significance to every single meeting, you know, just by pointing out it's the first day of the whatever thing like that. I don't know, shout out to anyone who also has had this experience with a boss or something, overbearing boss and all.
I would say that you sort out your own shit lah. Just take it out on me.
I would say
take it out on me.
I say shout out to anyone else who has been under this overbearing like kind of like boss who talks like that lah.
Yeah lah, but by saying that, you're hinting that I'm overbearing that I do it all the time.
No.
I do it all the time. I do not do it all the time, Terence. You know, you put a dampener on my enthusiasm at the start of this podcast.
But what's significant about the second week?
I think for me, the difference is because I went to KL and I came back like the 1st of Jan. And there was that whole like, okay, getting used to like that transition lah, you know. So that's why it was a big change for me.
You got the end of year holiday privilege lah.
I knew you were going to say that.
When you were away for some time, so it felt like a real break for you lah from
Terence, this morning the weather got to you. Is it the grey weather?
No, I mean nothing. It's just I like the weather. Like, today again, it's cold again. I like it. I'm just enjoying it, and then like. It's just like no need to remind me that it's going to end soon. Every time you tell me, it's going to end soon. Then that's why I feel sad when I know the rainy season is ending.
Terence, the world is going to throw shit at you. Okay, the important thing is how to deal with that rather than take it out on the people who unintentionally don't even throw it at you. Maybe they're just in the vicinity of it lah.
Correct. Yeah, no, I'm not taking it out lah. Maybe just some minor feedback lah, that maybe some people don't give a shit about this kind of thing. Remember that time when you were like telling me about the dreams you had? Then I just like, Harish, like no one's interested to hear about what dream you had.
Was that on the podcast?
It wasn't on the podcast. I think it was just like over lunch or something like that.
Yeah, that happened like 5-6 years ago.
Exactly.
And you're saying I remember dates that are meaningless. Terence, you have let go, no, Terence?
I remember events and stories.
That piss you off lah.
Yeah, I don't remember exact date it happened, but I remember that happening. And I think then after you stopped telling us about your dreams that you had already.
As though it was happening all the time. It probably happened like once or maybe twice. Or maybe someone else told a dream thing and then I told a dream thing and then you just like lost your
Shit
cool.
on it, yeah.
Just shit on it. So anyway,
yes, welcome to the second week of the first month of the 24th. Is it 24th year
of the
past
second
the millennium? Yeah,
second
past
millennium.
the second
Third millennium.
Yeah,
Third
yeah,
millennium.
Yeah.
Where stuff is still happening in Singapore.
Yes.
Right. Parliament sat yesterday.
Mm.
Anything else to say before we jump into it? Our usual spiel.
Oh, I mean, definitely, if you're listening to us for the first time, and I think a lot of people are, do follow us and subscribe on YouTube or Spotify, wherever it is. But also, just before we move on, like, I think want to shout out to everyone who's been commenting a lot on Reddit and YouTube. Contrary to what I was saying, one of my New Year resolutions this year, or at least the systems, is I want to be more responsive on YouTube and Reddit. Whether my personal account or the Yellowbud account. But I'm just going to make it a point to be a bit more responsive, at least in the first few hours when our podcasts and videos go out. Because I actually read all the comments and everything. And the boomer side of me is like, don't bother to respond, right? But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I think the community has given us a lot. And we will also give back to the community. And if there's another way for us to keep in touch with the community, I don't mind doing it.
Yeah. So the first few hours of every Reddit and every post and YouTube video coming out, you will be.
I'll do my best.
You'll do your best.
Yeah.
You'll also take the opportunity to shit on me, as you've done on the previous episode, because you are commenting. So maybe that might spur me on to comment also.
I think you should. Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're poking. You're poking the bear.
Yeah. Just make it a system, just a couple hours every time a new video comes out.
In the new system also is that we are going to be uploading at least one excerpt of a podcast every day on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot more content coming your way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So if you want to work with us in any way to make all this shit happen and more, you can always reach us at contact@ministryoffunny.com. Sweet, man.
Right.
Okay, the first topic.
Yeah, hot topic that everyone loves to talk about.
Yeah.
Salaries, right?
Salaries, man.
Yeah.
And it is the news hot off the Parliament sitting on 9th Jan, so Tuesday, that the Ministerial Salary Review that was originally targeted for 2023 was deferred because of, and I say in air quotes, other pressing issues. So I think that was delivered by Minister in charge of the Public Service, Chan Chun Sing, who is also Minister for Education. He was responding to a few questions in Parliament. And I mean, do you even remember that there was supposed to be a review last year?
No, I did not. I thought it was meant for 2023. Yeah. I think I remember there was a little bit of discussion about it at some point, right?
Yeah, because in January 2023, it was said also by Chan Chun Sing that the review of political office holders' salaries was likely to take place in 2023. Yeah, so I think that's why the MPs were following up. So good on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this news, I don't know, man. I was like, oh shit, I forgot, and it's not the best thing to see, lah.
Not the best thing to see.
A bit like, it's not a good look for the ministers, I guess.
Not you're saying it's not a good look that they are deferring the review.
Yeah.
But isn't that deferring the review? Doesn't that mean that they are taking into account the actual situation around them, rather than just saying, "Hey, we said that we'll do it in 2023, so we'll do it in 2023."
Yeah, I think so that's why it's worth talking about, because when you see defer the thing on first impression, it almost feels like, okay, you're delaying a pay cut. But
a pay cut?
Yeah.
Oh.
But on the flip side, you might also be delaying a pay rise, right?
Well, what makes you think there's going to be a cut if the salaries are going to be reviewed?
Because of they were saying the reason for deferring, right, is because of other pressing issues.
Correct.
They talk about the global order, the global system, the uncertainties here and there. So that's why I felt like, okay, if they're deferring because there's all these problems to solve, sounds like, maybe they're reviewing it, or maybe that's too idealistic.
That is totally not what I got from it.
Oh, is it?
What entirely I got from this is that we want to raise salaries, but we'll defer it because it doesn't look good now. That's why I'm like very surprised that you're thinking that they are even considering a pay cut.
So I would say that that's maybe the idealistic part lah. The idealistic part.
The part that's still left in the first week of January of 2024.
But that's the thing, because I mean just looking, okay, ministerial salaries is always polarizing.
Yeah.
Right? And there's always a general sentiment, okay, that they're paid a lot.
Yeah.
And I think no one can dispute that lah, whether you agree with it or whether you disagree.
Yeah.
But I think the sentiment that I got from this was, the idealistic side of me. I was like, they're delaying, like changing or reviewing the salary to take into account the challenging nature of the economy, which we keep hearing is going down the shitstorm lah.
There's no way it's gonna be a pay cut lah. There's no way. Come on, like I mean, since 2018, the last time there was a review, you would. Everything, the price of everything has gone up.
Yeah.
Everyone, even GCBs and all these things, the price of everything has gone up. What in their right mind would, if you were a politician and all these ministers or something, what in your right mind would make you say, yeah, I should be taking a pay cut now, to given the situation around the world.
So that's the thing, like, is it wrong for them to think that? Because like I know. After thinking about it, looking through, it feels like, okay, it's more likely that there will be a pay rise. But I also think that there is no reason why there can't be a review, even the calculation, right? I know the current calculation is based on the white paper back in 2012. And 2018, there was a recommendation to increase it by 9%, which they didn't do at that point in time because of economic transition and all. So I think, I think there is a very slim possibility, but I think a review is not totally implausible, or not implausible that the politician might want to do a review.
No, it will be reviewed. But I'm just saying that there's no way that it's going to go down. The only trend it can possibly go is up.
Yeah,
but
so
you're saying that you're saying that you are entertaining the possibility that they will take a pay cut.
Idealistically entertaining, because you think about what we hear as citizens, everything is like, okay, there's rising costs, yes, but and I think the median income of Singaporeans generally has been going up the past few years, right? But everything you hear is like, okay, the world is unsteady, it's challenging times, the economic recessions are coming and stuff like that. So with all that, that's why I think like the deferring thing and just leaving it at that, it just puts questions. I don't know whether I'm like the anomaly thinking that maybe there might be a review for that would be more palatable.
I think you are, I think you're way off the mark. Like, I think if you ask 100 people who see this article, you might be the only one that thinks that salary might go down. I don't know. Maybe this is a good one to reach out and ask people like your first impressions. Because to me, it's zero chance that it's going to go down. It will only go up. I mean, also based on like 2018, like, they recommended to increase it by 9% or something like that, but they didn't. Yeah. So in their minds, in these office holders' minds, I already defer for so long, dude. I never get paid for so long already. I never increased for so long already. And now cost of living going up, my down payment for bungalow, everything, I need to maintain that property tax going. They also squeeze on these things, right? These luxury items that they buy as well.
Yeah.
There's no way that they will actually ask to reduce salaries.
So that's the thing. Like, I really don't think I'm the only one in 100 where that thought might cross the mind.
I think you are.
See, Terence, you really today, you damn testy.
No. I really, honestly, I really think
I don't think it's just 1 out of 100.
Possible, yeah.
No, so
that even crossed your mind. I'm like shocked.
Yeah, why not? And I think it is not. I really don't think that I'm the only one in 100 where that thought crosses the mind. And to clarify, after reading it, after looking at the history, all signs point to an increase. But I'm just saying the thought, right? And I don't think it's totally crazy for people to have that thought. Oh, maybe the review is meant to, like take into account like everything that the people are generally feeling. That thought. I'm just saying that thought. I don't think it's totally off the mark for
but
some
you're
people.
Saying that basically you were thinking that there's a percentage possibility of it, right?
A non-zero chance.
Non-zero, okay.
Non-zero chance.
I mean, just for me, I just think it's zero.
But the way you say I am the only one out of 100, I don't think so. And I'm focusing on the thought, because after you read it, you look at 2012. From 2012 till now, there hasn't really been an increment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All signs again point to an increase.
Yeah.
and maybe deferring it to a point where maybe they didn't want to do it last year. This is speculation again because of all the scandals,
Yeah.
Then with all that, and you suggest an increase. So so after you read it, it makes sense. But I'm saying the thought, I don't think it's a 1 in 100 thing.
I mean, of course, what we're saying is just our own subjective opinions about it, lah. But I think what's interesting is to hear what people think on reading an article like that.
Yeah.
To walk away, with thought, oh, that was nice of them, or kind of expected.
I think I would say the headline, lah. Like what is the initial sentiment when you read the headline? Maybe I am really just 1 of 100 where I'm a bit too idealistic. I don't know. Because once you read the article, I mean, and more that you read the articles, the previous articles, because this one is it's not too much info aside from the fact that it's going to be deferred. But if you look at the history of the review of ministerial salaries and stuff like that, then you're like, oh, okay, it's going to increase.
Yeah, I mean, even for me personally, I'm not actually opposed to there being an increase because it's true that the cost of stuff has gone up. And if you buy into Singapore Inc., which by living here and paying taxes and everything, you buy into Singapore Inc., right? The system is that, if we pay ministers a good salary, we attract talent and we can prevent corruption, right? But I'm just very... in fact, when I'm reading this article and then they reminded me what the benchmarks were again, I just chuckled because I was like, what the hell is this? Like, median income of the top 1,000 earners in Singapore. To this day, I still think that the incentive is wrong, right? Then it becomes an incentive to make the richest people in the country richer already. And I feel like whatever it is, institutions should guard against human interest, human psychology and all, which is to, take care of yourself first before you take care of other people, right? That's just human instinct, right? And if the incentive pushes you to just take care of yourself and the top 1,000 earners so that, you also be rewarded, that's your KPI, that's your measure of success. Naturally, it's, you are not going to look at the rest of the non-1,000 top earners in Singapore. And we can debate day and night about it, but that's just what the system is set up to incentivize, to incentivize increasing the salary of the top 1,000 earners. And I'm not opposed to pegging it to a, more normal number, like a median income in Singapore, but you add a multiple onto that, such that this multiple is even higher than whatever they earn now. I'm not opposed to that. At least I know if median income rises, their income also rises, and that's fair. But right now, it just feels like, there's this top 1,000 earners, which I mean, we're really talking about private sector, doctors, lawyers, professionals, people who are at the top of their field, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite laughable when I saw that, how ridiculous that pegging was. And then a 40% discount for the ethos of public service, which I'm like, okay, then, why don't you just, rather than give a discount, then just peg it to something that's a bit more reachable and relatable to people, right?
Yeah. So part of my idealism or review is also looking at that sort of calculations. So for me, it was, and I totally agree with you that I'm on the same page also, that if it's a review, if the calculation is based on median income and it results in them earning a bit higher, I would actually see that as a positive thing. So it's maybe the feeling I got from reading the headline is that, maybe even the calculation will change. Because when you go into the weeds, it really sounds ridiculous. I knew that it was pegged to the highest earners in Singapore, but literally, it is the top 1,000 Singapore citizen earners. Which also means that, okay, wait, if people come here, they become Singapore citizens, but they earn a shit ton of money, does that fall into it?
Yeah.
And we all know the wealth inequality is growing in Singapore. We all know that around the world, the rich are getting richer, the not so rich are not getting richer. So to still have that, same thing. I also just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And previously back, before the 2012 review, it was pegged to the highest 48 earners.
My God.
48 people. It was the 50%, the median of the top 48 owners. Now it is the median income of the top 1,000 earners. And 40% discount because of the ethos. So that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, and this is all, we're discussing this in the wake of what has happened in the last year, right? When you talk about corruption. The S.A. Swaran case has apparently, CPIB has finished their investigations. Have they handed over their files and everything to the Attorney General's chambers to decide what to do? Which, on reading that, what do you think is going to happen? Is it like, oh, big bunch of nothing, move on. Or is it going to be like they're going to charge him or what? What do you think, lah? I mean, it's still very early.
Very, very early.
But generally, when you read the news, how do you?
I was ping-ponging between, okay, this is just going to be like investigation done, or like he's going to be the sacrificial lamb ahead of the elections to show that, we are above, we are whiter than white and we take things seriously.
Yeah.
So, two extremes.
Yeah. So,
you?
I mean, the fact that there was an update.
Yeah.
And the update was quite clear about what stage the investigation is at. Tells me that things are moving towards, there will be and needs to be a resolution for it sooner. Yeah. I mean, could take months, half a year, whatever. But the fact that this update came, that it's very clear that the investigation is officially complete, and now it's about what to do with it, what to do with the information. No?
Yeah. And I mean, what I also agree is that all signs point to the salary increment, right?
Yeah.
When the review comes, it would look horrible if there's a salary increase.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus the 9% just kicked in. 9% GST also just kicked in. I don't know if you saw that meme over New Year's, like people are forwarding that meme of like, Happy New Year, welcome to 9%. And then there was a photo of PM Lee and Hu Jing. I think Osaka, right, where they were posing with the.
So it was a recent photo, is it?
I don't know how recent but it was making its rounds amongst WhatsApp groups and all that.
Yeah. So, and I mean, like going back to the thing about how it's calculated, because if you look at the breakdown of every tier of minister, prime minister, president, it's all very calculated based on some logic.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when I read stuff like the reason why it's back to the 1,000 top earners, because these are alternative careers that, people who became ministers could have undertaken. And the older I get, the more I feel like, yo man, you can be smart, you can be competent, you can work your ass off, but life throws you shit, right? There's no guarantee that because you are whatever capable, you automatically you have a projected income. So that's why I feel like, but that's assuming that if they join, if they did well, if they didn't have a scandal and all. So that whole thing, right? When I read it also, it was a mix of chuckling and like, what the fuck? This is almost a bit gross. It's a bit gross where Singapore is right now, where the wealth is like, holy shit. And you're pegging it to the 1,000 top earners. Yeah.
I mean, tell that to the folks who just got laid off by Lazada, right? There were very senior people who also got laid off, right? Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like there's this, just cause you're a high earner, like what you said, shit. Like, especially you work in private sector, a lot of shit
happens.
Can happen that literally you're celebrating New Year's Eve, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 days later, please leave the office in 10 seconds, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think there were a lot of points raised also on Reddit about this argument doesn't really hold water because granted, if you are, say, a lawyer, really high-flying lawyer, Queen's Counsel like Shanmugam or that, definitely there is a step down in the amount you earn, right? As a top lawyer versus what he earns now. But there are a lot of ministers all that who didn't come through those professional ranks of being a doctor, lawyer, right? They came literally work through public sector. And to immediately say that someone at a certain level in the public sector is equal to someone at a certain level in the private sector, I think that's false equivalence. You can't just because he could have been a lawyer. I also think about my life like that. I also could have been a lawyer. So I, as a YouTuber, I should be earning. No, it doesn't work like that, right?
Exactly.
I worked in investment banking. I could have been a finance professional. So as a YouTuber, I must be earning.
So we talk to brands, we're like, okay, the cost of a pre-roll is this because I was in SIA, doing well. Terrence was in iBanking. Our projected incomes at our ages now is this. So you have to pay us. They'll be like, shut the fuck up, okay? It doesn't matter. Yeah, so that whole thing, you read the benchmark, it's weird. And everything else is calculated, like I think the 60% is, 40% is, the Speaker of Parliament is, the Deputy earns 15% less,
So, and just to add to that as well, people point out that, like if you are a lawyer and you come in and work as Minister of Law, it's relevance, right? Immediately, you have the chops for the job. But not necessarily for people who are not from a profession the example they always raise is like paper generals, right? A general from the army coming in to run SPH, for example. where's the relevance or understanding of the media sector that allows you to earn that wage, right? So that's why people, I think that's what a lot of people are raising the point that they're not arguing with people, like our ministers being paid higher and all that, to transform Singapore from sleepy fishing village to a glowing metropolis that it is today.
Yeah.
But it's all the who are we selecting to be the leaders, right? And like what they bring to the table to command that kind of not just the money but the leadership position as well.
Yeah. And you can argue also, like, sure, you take a dip in income if you go into like become a minister and all, but there's a lot of other things that you get access to. You know, like
what? You get to come on the Yellow Butt podcast and
yeah, exactly. You know, that should be part of the compensation.
The exposure is a lot of compensation.
Once a year appearance on Yellow Butt. So stuff like that. There's a perk,
Yeah.
But you also get like, of course, like networking, connections. Even if you leave the private sector, public sector after that, I mean, you are building up your portfolio, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very qualitative, yes, but yeah, no one can deny that is part of it. So yeah, it just feels wrong, this one. But I don't know whether that whole calculation thing is going to be part of the review. I don't think so, because the last white paper that proposed this was back in 2012.
Yeah.
And before that, I think from 1994 to 2012, it was calculated with top 48 earners kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which even back then, I think the wealth inequality was not that crazy.
It's just insane now.
Now it's insane.
Yeah.
And you can imagine if like Messi says he would do equally well as a basketballer as a footballer. Right? Where got such thing?
Again, I repeat from last episode, Messi is shorter than me. Yeah. There's no way that he would have made it in NBA.
Which other facet of like life or profession is like, okay, if I went down this path, I would have done this well. So if I go down another path, I need to get a percentage of that. It doesn't work that way, you know. So yeah. Just feels, and I mean, of course, then there's all this talk of like the looming election and all coming up soon.
So timing is just, I mean, if you want to raise ministerial salaries, now is just like probably the worst time to be announcing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
GST rise, Iswaran, all that stuff going on around the world. Even the recent, all the articles about the cost of living in Singapore that the MTI had to step forward to, counter those reports about Singapore being the most expensive place in the world to live and all that.
Yeah.
It's just a really shitty time to be suddenly, hey, boss, maybe increase salary.
Increase salary.
Need to pay for my down payment for my bungalow. Yeah.
And we haven't been increasing the past 8 years, 9 years, so the annual increase in general must compound, Because on the flip side, I just saw an article back in November 2023 that the Japanese Prime Minister was going to return part of his salary ahead of a proposed hike. So, and then last time, Pritam Singh also, he got his salary, which he donated to something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, that is also political and all, but that feels like something like, okay, like people have sentiments towards political salaries, Can't deny it, right?
Yeah.
So how this plays out, tricky, man. Tricky.
But I guess the deferment doesn't have like a specific period or window, right? So we don't know when it'll come up again. But just a reminder that it's there. It's there.
And don't forget about it. Because I forgot about it. So kudos to the MPs who raised the question.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, we will put links to the white paper and certain things that explain the breakdown. You just look at it, you're like, it feels wrong. It feels wrong.
But I mean, we talk a lot about cost of living, and it's driving people to do kind of like crazy things also, right? And I think this particular story, in instance, really tells you that maybe it's really getting to people's heads, the cost of materials, cost of things that. Yeah, it literally causes people to fight about things in public, right?
Yeah.
And what is this story?
It is a story about a tourist who was having lunch at a Maxwell Food Center on Christmas Day, where she ordered Hainanese chicken rice from a stall. So she was with her boyfriend, and she didn't want to use the forks provided by that stall. So she thought she could just take the chopsticks from the neighboring Fish Village stall instead. Because according to her, she did that at the Changi airport before, and there was no issue. So when they took the chopsticks, apparently the owner of that stall just like shouted at her and angrily stormed over, demanding they return the chopsticks. Then she offered to pay, and then the owner refused. So then she said she offered to buy something from the stall, hoping that the stall owner would be okay with them using the chopsticks. Then the stall owner started shouting and threatened to report them to the police for stealing his chopsticks.
Yeah.
So they posted on Xiang Hongshu. I don't know what's that. Xiao Hongshu. It's a Chinese social media or something.
Yeah.
Then she was interviewed by Xinmin Daily News, 8 World, and then the stall owner also said that they were angry that he took the chopsticks without asking. So that kind of caused a lot of chatter online. But when you read this, what came to mind?
I was just trying to think of instances overseas, with street food or things like that. Like, is there the norm that, if you buy takeaway from, say, a food truck in the US, can you just walk to the next door food truck and just take their cutlery to use for a thing? And if I recall correctly from the couple of years that I lived overseas, no lah. It doesn't operate like that. Even if all the food trucks are all bunched together, you buy from one, you take the cutlery from there. You don't go to another food place and then ask for their cutlery from them and all. So is it like saying that, isn't it a norm to be able for them to share cutlery or that? I don't know. I was just trying to think, is it really the case in the rest of the world? Yeah, doesn't seem like the norm.
I think maybe because if someone goes there, they might think that the cutleries are shared. Because, food trucks is almost like, okay, some food trucks are 2 meters away, some food trucks are right next to each other, but it still feels like independent entities.
Yeah.
Whereas a hawker center or coffee shop, you already have some shared utilities, the cleaners.
Yeah.
They don't just clean plates or one thing. So I can understand why someone might think, this is maybe centrally provided. Maybe they don't know that all those things are paid for by the hawkers.
Yeah. Especially disposable items.
Especially disposable items. Like even do you ever do that where you take from one or the other?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, because even if it's centrally shared or what, just using someone's utensils just means you're taking from their customers, right? Their potential customers who need to use the actual utensils, right?
The only time I do it is when it's like the metal spoons that I would assume is not something they buy
okay.
Because it's clean centrally
You assume yeah.
Yeah, I assume.
Okay,
I mean, if it's disposable, I'm with you on that. If it's any condiments, that one confirm cannot touch. Confirm cannot. But I can imagine some people also. I don't know. This one I think you have to be extra thick skin.
Yeah.
But the disposable thing. Yeah, so I don't really blame the hawker.
In fact, yeah, my thought was good on the hawker that he stood up to that kind of thing, that kind of very just like tourists come here and think that they just do whatever they want to do right? And not say that you're not following norms or what, but the truth is they didn't buy from the store, but they went to take from there, and then after that, there are all these justifications that, Changi Airport is like that, then that's my only experience of it. It just feels like a cop-out, kind of
so,
answer.
But I mean, probably the owner, I guess, shouting at them is never good.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
But yeah, it feels like you read the post. I mean, I tried translating the one in the Chinese post, but generally, it's like, is it a crime in Singapore to take disposable chopsticks? It just feels a bit like, it sounds a bit condescending,
But isn't it? I mean, if someone is taking from your store when they haven't bought anything and literally walking away from your store and using it for themselves, that is what it is, right? It's stealing, right?
Yeah. I would say
it's like shoplifting, right?
But yeah, just the that kind of okay, like what you said, because it's done somewhere else, why can't it be done here?
Yeah.
That one is like, In some ways, some people are also pointing out online that she got the real authentic hawker experience. Because I think most people eat hawker, you've kind of shouted at some point, right?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah. I remember just a few weeks ago, I was waiting in line, I was using my phone, and then the uncle was like, "Hello, boy, what you want?" Then I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Was that shouting?
I mean, raised voice lah. Okay, not shouting, but his face was like scowl but the Ban Mian is nice lah.
Yeah.
So
okay lah. I mean, kind of annoying that when people look at their phones and don't look up, that kind of thing.
Also, but I mean, okay, it doesn't have to be the first thing you say lah. right?
But he didn't like insult you, what? Like he said hello boy.
No, but he's not the most pleasant hawker. I admit. I've had like in the past also I asked him something. He was like, don't have this one. But I mean,
let me guess. He's like the only hawker selling that thing in the whole vicinity, and there's no alternatives. It's a bit like your red mart problem, right?
Yeah, don't give me this shit.
It's like your red mart problem. There's no viable alternative, so you cannot vote with your dollars.
I will say I didn't go to that shop for a while until I felt okay. Like, there's a bit more smiles, there's a bit more courtesy, and like just mutual graciousness. I also try not to use my phone when I'm in the line. And then now we have a decent ban mian relationship.
You smile at him, he smiles at you. And
a bit more. Thank you. Is welcome and all that. And I'm like, there's progress. There's progress. There's progress.
But then, you said that it's not right that the hawker shouted at her, or not nice, right?
Not ideal.
Then what is that? What can they do? What else can they do other than call it out?
I mean, I think shouting in general is, if it can be avoided, it should be. But yeah, so this one we don't know the side, the POV from the hawker,
Yeah.
So the shouting, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes you do need to shout, but at the same time, what would you do? Like, aside from shouting, take back the chopstick.
I mean, the hawker did kind of like say that. I think he also he responded saying that the tourists were rude and insulting her, right? When they said that he offered to, not say offered he said he'll pay for it or something like that, right? And I think he said he got very offended by them, because the pair didn't apologize but immediately replied, "How much is it? I'll pay you." And he felt insulted by the attitude, thinking that money could solve the problem. But that's my question mark, Money can't solve the problem. Like if the guy turned around and then just said, "Okay, give me $10 or what," isn't that like better than shouting and getting an article on Mothership?
But I think that one is just the sentiment. Like, you imagine if I take something of yours and you're like, "Hey, give me back." I was like, "Just tell me how much, Terence. Just, I can afford it. Just tell me how much." It's a very cheap one, right?
No, so then you give a ridiculous price that if they pay, you're also happy, right? And then if they don't pay, then you say, then you're damn cheapskate. You offer to pay, but you don't want to pay, that kind of thing.
I guess maybe that would be the next time something happens, like he can learn from it.
It's one of those things probably like after he shouted at them, then he went back like, I should have just done something.
So maybe this can become a side income, like you just put 10 chopsticks for 20 cents or something like that.
Yeah. Put the cost of
because
chopsticks.
now there is that stat that apparently 80% the usage of plastic bags at groceries has gone down by 80%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's many ways to look at it also, because some people are saying the usage of the plastic bags at the fruit section has gone up by 5,000% or something like that. But yeah, so if this keeps happening, he did say, right, that he and his wife have thought about putting like a notice to remind customers not to take cutlery.
Yeah.
One stall owner said this happens 2 to 3 times a week for her.
But maybe the only solution is to you distribute the cutlery yourself, as the store owner and everything.
That means you don't have any.
Don't have it out there in front. I mean, the stuff that for eating here and now can because it's centrally washed.
I think Maxwell there's no steel ones, no. I think Maxwell is all like, a lot of it is still styrofoam. And
really?
I think so.
Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, I think that's the reason. Like, it's all just disposable.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, wait, sorry. In the picture there are the ones that clean. Wait, I don't know whether that picture is Maxwell or not. But I remember certain food courts. I don't know whether it's Lau Pa Sat also now got clean. But at one point I remember it was just styrofoam. But have you ever done something in another country where you went and it was like a no and like someone called you out on it?
No, and someone called me out on it. I mean, obviously, when first going to the US, tipping was such a foreign concept to me, right? As a young student and everything, there were times that we got up and me and my friends got up and walked out of restaurants, completely forgetting to leave a tip, and not because we're being malicious or what. And the store owner would come running after you and say, "Hey, you didn't tip. You gotta give a tip," And then I realized it's really an ingrained part of their culture, It's not even about, you had good service then you tip. It's just about you tip if it's good, then you tip more. There's no such thing as you don't tip.
But did you feel like insulted if there was Facebook back then? Would you have gone like, oh, just this owner was very rude to me or something like that?
No. I felt like embarrassed because I made us look cheap, like cheapskate, like trying to avoid tipping. When really it was just an honest mistake, So in this case, I wouldn't go around posting, it's a crime to forget all the kind of thing,
Yeah. I remember when I went to Japan, I was talking on the phone and I walked into a bus.
Asshole behavior.
Hey.
Then Japan.
Did I call you an asshole when you and your friends left without tipping? No. I showed compassion. I listened and I empathized. This one's straight up asshole already.
I have been there before. I took a train with my kid thinking that it's going to be so awesome because he's going to experience it. The moment he started wowing and making noise, everything, it was...
Everyone
No, I started to feel really like everyone's staring at you, that kind of feel.
Oh, because it's silent.
Right? I'm an asshole. Hey, so don't take it too personally. I'm just saying that in Japan...
then start with that. You're like, before just saying asshole behavior, saying, I am also guilty of such asshole behavior. But the thing is, the moment someone told me, then I just turn it off.
Someone did come out and tell you.
The driver, because you have to go up the bus, right? I think this was in one of the towns, the buses connecting. So I went up, he was like, oh, no. So then, then you just, when in Rome, when
they
in
never
Rome,
go on Facebook, wow, because of my skin color
never,
and everything.
Never.
East Asian country,
never,
it's so hard
never.
living as a minority in Singapore.
Yeah, that's why I'm a minority everywhere I go. I'm a minority everywhere I go. None of that.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, you kind of got to figure out where you are and assimilate and all that and be a bit more humble about it, right?
Yeah.
Then merely go on social media and start trying to find people to side with you.
Yeah. And I think it was on Reddit that some people pointed out that the way, there's this maybe impression that even hawkers, they're expected to be part of the service economy. You go restaurants, you pay for the food, then you also pay a service charge.
Yeah.
Right? Hawkers, already the prices are so depressed. So if you expect them to be very good service, that's a bit much, But maybe as someone coming to visit, you don't get that. But like what you said earlier, if you go to a country and you eat street food, basically non-restaurant, you will also expect it's a give and take,
it's a give and take,
So this one,
So I was trying to think of whether her argument held any water, that do you come from a place where you can just walk up to any street hawker or street food place and just take their cutlery because it's disposable or whatever? No, No, at least in all the places I've been or have heard of, all experience is not like that.
Then if next time you go buy your favorite, what's your favorite, chai peng or something, they're like, okay, the price is increased 50 cents to pay for these chopsticks.
Exactly, annoying.
But you'll be okay,
As in, I pay for additional for the chopsticks.
See whether you're a champagne socialist.
No, as in what? I'm buying the food.
The price of everything goes up to take into account leakage of this.
Oh, because of this leakage. Then I'll be I'll be very angry at people like them, the leakers.
Then you keep watch for the stall, and you want to go and take it. Where's your fucking
Yeah,
fish soup? You got fish soup.
Yeah.
But again, this goes back at the underlying thing about being a hawker is the margins are damn tight. And what your segue was that the fact that the cost of everything increasing bleeds into stuff like this.
Causes tension, right? Yeah.
Causes tension, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Tension. Yeah. So when in Rome or when in Maxwell, do as the Maxwellians do.
Yeah, so go on the hawker for, standing up. Just don't, shouting at people is not nice, but, at least you made a stand for yourself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they didn't list down who the hawker was or anything, right? In particular.
No, I think they did. The store owner?
But they named the store?
I believe.
Fish Village.
Yeah.
It's the Fish Village store. Yeah.
Fish Village. Yeah.
So if you're in Maxwell, go and patronize. I guess the guy feels bad and he's all over mothership.
Yeah, it was quite interesting that he also said he regrets his words and all. So yeah, man.
But yeah. Speaking of regretting words, what's your one Shiok comment of the week?
My one Shiok comment. Wait, let me.
Not of the week, of this session.
Pull it up. You have yours?
Yeah. I think there's the recent on YouTube. There was a comment about our most recent podcast. about the Lazada layoffs and the street soccer courts. From Humorous Guy 64. So far, I rate your podcast best on my viewing because your podcast is sincere and honest, not like well-prepared scripts. And those people you got them sit and being interviewed are real people who can share thoughts and their views of things. Keep it up, and you both sure will get high on best award for podcast.
Get high, man. All more. Fucking get high, man.
What podcast awards are there? I can't even think of any that are like that.
I think at one point there was a Pinwheel Awards by MediaCorp or something. That's content creators.
Yeah, it's not about podcasts. So yeah, I mean, thanks for the compliment, but a lot of people keep talking about some awards thingy, but I don't understand what they're talking about. Like, are they seeing something that we're not seeing about some podcast awards that are being given out that we have never been nominated
I don't know.
for?
Maybe they are.
Because everyone's talking about some award thing. I'm like, what award? Like, there's no system that rewards conversational podcasts.
Yeah, if you know the award, just tell us.
Nominate us.
Nominate us. Because I think even at the Golden Globes, there was a new category, right? Best stand-up performance for television.
Oh, and Ricky Gervais won.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais won for Armageddon.
Separate discussion. I couldn't laugh like through half of it.
Golden Globes now feels like a bit too politically correct. But yeah, cool. My one Shiok Thing is a DM through Instagram for Yalaba. So I won't mention the name since it's a DM, but it is greetings from a new Yala Butter based in Qatar. So as a Singaporean based in Qatar, started listening to our podcast since the episode with Minister Shanmugam. And yeah, even though the episodes are long, they feel it goes so fast and they don't listen to it at 1.5 times speed. Yeah, but I mean, they basically said also that, working overseas, it's good to keep in touch. And the fact that our discussions, we debate, we do that, and it's not the easiest to find. So thanks for appreciating that. So nice comment. So you know who you are. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
And a one Shiok Thing. Do you have a one Shiok Thing?
Yes, I do. Actually, I had prepared this one Shiok Thing before, but I forgot about it the last time.
Yeah.
But it's actually this quite funny story of like there's this basketball player, super talented, like very young guy. I think he's like 23. Very athletic, almost young Michael Jordan-esque. His name is Ja Morant. And early this year, he got in a little bit of controversy. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he got a little bit of controversy because he went on Instagram Live and he had a video of himself. I think it was in a strip club, and then he brandished some guns in the Instagram Live video, like real firearms. And in the US, guns, black communities, strip clubs, all these things are very non-family friendly, very non-NBA entertainment stuff, right? So immediately he got in trouble for that. He was suspended for 25 games in the NBA since last season. And and then he said he was going through therapy and all these things, and he understands his role as like as a role model and why he shouldn't be brandishing like firearms around, right? So it's you can tell this is a young guy who got a lot of fame and money very quickly, but probably has got a bad company, right? Due to that fame and money, and just got into the lifestyle of drugs. And then I don't know about drugs, but strip clubs and guns and things like that. So people are really watching him all this while and telling him that he needs to get help, he needs to get a better group of people around him. And then this season, he made his comeback, a big comeback after a 25-game suspension. And his team was in the doldrums, like losing, I don't know, a single-digit like win record right now and that kind of thing. But the moment he came back, I think this current records, like they won like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 games and then lost like only 2. But he was playing like crazy excellent. Such that like even at one game, which is my one Shiok Thing, where he like caught an alley-oop and dunked the ball, spectacular, and everyone's like, yeah, this is the young athlete that we're talking about who, can be the next generation NBA. But the moment he made that dunk, he got back on his feet and then he started to do a victory dance, and his fingers just came up in this like pistol gesture. And then it's almost like you can see on his face, suddenly he realized, wait, I shouldn't be doing this. Then he suddenly changed it into some other dance mid-celebration. So it was hilarious because everyone was like dude, you need to. The last thing you need to do now is to have some like gun celebration after scoring and then he adjusted it halfway. And then I think someone on his team or what put out a statement saying that he wasn't doing any gun salute. He was doing some viral TikTok dance that happened to have the thing. But it was so funny because you really watch the video, and because sports, they record everything slow motion, so you literally can see his expression. Like he realized, oh wait, I shouldn't be doing this gun thing, and he changes it halfway, and it's damn funny lah. Really caught on the West, yeah. But yeah, just a couple of days ago, he got a season-ending injury on his shoulder, so he's out for the season. But I just thought that was my one Shiok thing because it's just so damn funny to see all these like really rich young kids who got in trouble, and then now they're like trying their best to stay in the good books lah. Basically, yeah, it's just hilarious lah.
But his injury got chance of recovery and all. It's not like a career ending.
He's young, end of season. I mean, I think the season is. They're not going to do much this season because, everything's just so screwed up. But, so yeah, I mean, hopefully he recovers soon, but it's just funny, just keep away from the gun celebrations. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Interesting. My one Shiok thing is I finally started listening to Andrew Huberman.
Okay.
I don't know whether I spoke about him before, but I've heard a lot about this guy who is he's an American neuroscientist, and he just started his podcast, I think, in 2021, the Huberman Lab podcast. So he's a neuroscientist and he's an associate professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford, and he's like super into like how your body works and shit like that. So he started a podcast in 2021 just talking about like what he researches and what he has learned. And it sometimes can be a bit academic, but because I watch clips of him on YouTube, I'm seeing more and more clips. But I like how he approaches stuff. I think he has a 1-hour podcast just on headaches. I haven't listened to it yet, but a good friend recommended to me, and he said it really helped him with his headache. Because like headache, he was just getting his headache and he didn't understand why. And there's one thing, he goes into like the details of what causes headaches, what are the different causes for headaches and remedies. So I like how
your friend got to see doctor like for the headache.
No, I don't know. I think he probably saw. Okay. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know whether you, but sometimes you get headaches and you're like, fuck, do I need to go to the doctor? Maybe it'll go off. But it's just happening a bit more and all. So I'm not saying this guy's a pseudoscientist, right? He's not clinically diagnosing everyone. It's just interesting bits of info. He talks about how to like work out, what you should do after a workout. So, for example, I saw one clip. He said after a heavy like lifting session and all, there's a lot of benefits to just doing 3 to 5 minutes of slow breathing, like forcing your body to slow down, because that helps with all this. And then he talks about it. So it's just little things that make you think, okay, that's interesting. Try it. I like his approach to taking very complicated stuff and making it quite accessible.
And he's legit.
Seems legit. I mean, even physique-wise, he's, well built. It seems legit. You look at the comments online, generally supportive. And I saw this other clip where, I mean, he's a hardcore scientist, hardcore researcher, but he's actually religious. And he talks about how, like, the more he studies the brain, the more he feels that, okay, there is something behind it, which was refreshing because you don't often hear, like, leading scientists be that open about their religious beliefs.
That's why you felt that connection with him because of that point.
Wouldn't say connection, but I just thought, okay, here's someone who feels like, okay, it's a fresh take on many things, including fitness, religion, and all, and science. So I thought, interesting. I'm growing to like him a lot.
Nice. A lot of influencers listening to him.
Now he's like, I think his podcast is one of the most popular ones. So for a while I was like, okay, but then I finally listened. I'm like, okay, this guy actually not bad.
Yeah.
He's good. You've heard people talk about him also,
Yeah. Sharing a lot of stuff about mental wellness and all.
Yeah.
And I mean, the big one was Thierry Henry was on the Diary of a CEO just yesterday, I think. It was released.
But then he talked about his mental health and how he was in depression and all, right?
Pretty not bad. Like you're hearing about a lot of these things from podcasts and not from other like mainstream media interviews.
Yeah, that's why now the days of the talk show all is like, good there for what? Nobody says anything honest.
Yeah. Like if you want to hear a minister go on for an hour about Israel Hamas, you don't go to CNN, you don't go to other places, you come here, man.
Yeah. The yearly ministerial perk. Part of the ministerial salary review.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Remember, follow us on social media. We're going to be responding to comments, uploading more content. Hit that notification bell so you know when we got new episodes, and we'll talk to you all soon.